at the university requires that all senior faculty in the department be consulted prior to a termination. He brought all the senior faculty in. They were generally positive about Drs. Bird and Moraros' performance. Dr. Robinson did not indicate at that time that there was any intent to terminate. However, the policy required it, so he had to do that within, I believe it was 90 days that were required by the policy.
Yeah, we're also going to introduce another character, the former, in this whole story, the former president of the Board of Regents, Gallagher. And we're going to go to a deposition in a minute about apparently he had made the claim that he had some secret files. This sounds rather childish, to be honest with you. I mean, the president, I went to UCLA. We have a Board of Regents. It's a big university. And I would just never think that, you know, someone would stoop so low to say that they had secret files. What secret files? Let's go to that deposition because I found it extraordinarily interesting. It's just unbelievable. Let's do this right now.
And you were also asked about, and you made a statement about New Mexico State University collecting evidence that supported its position vis-a-vis Bird and Moraros and putting them in a file to which no one was privy. Do you recall making a statement about that?
Yes, sir.
And as far as you know, that was occurring at during the period of time in which you gave that interview?
That's correct.
New Mexico State was collecting evidence against Bird and Moraros and was putting it in a file. Is that right?
I don't know if I would characterize it as against them. I would characterize it as putting information in the file that would prepare for any sort of litigation.
He also, as well as the former president of the university, accused both Yelena and her husband of plagiarism, right?
That's correct.
And how did they come to this conclusion?
Well, supposedly the president of the university, in an idle moment, was reading their master's theses from 4 years before and noticed some similar language in the two theses in the methodology section. And also he claims now, belatedly, that other professors came to him and indicated that there was plagiarism, and that's what caused him to look.
And this also brought into question the validity of their degrees, right?
That's correct.
Well, there was a claim that they hadn't really gotten their MD degrees from a university in Mexico.
Yeah. Now, one thing that hasn't been mentioned that I saw that started this whole ball of terror starting was that Larry Olson had a bad habit of sending out pornographic emails to many of the faculty members, right?
That is correct.
And
yes.
I think Yelena and her husband objected to this, right?
They did. Dr. Moraros in particular, John in particular, had objected.
And they were told that they needed to get with the program.
Right.
You know, this was okay to do, and what's wrong with you kind of people, right?
Right.
And they used derogatory terms. That's what really started this whole ball of wax moving, isn't it?
In some ways, although I do think that, as Chris has noted, Dr. Olson certainly had some concerns about them being hired, was very concerned when they were hired.
Because of their race?
That is what it appears. And they were very successful as well.
Now, there was a no confidence vote that was taken, correct?
There was a call by Dr. Buckingham for a vote of no confidence. That's
Which
right.
means, for our audience, means what?
Essentially, he was asking that there be a vote by the faculty and that Dr. Robinson be removed as department head, both because of his conduct in terminating John and Yelena, as well as in revealing that information to a group of graduate students.
We have a video deposition of her talking about that. We're going to go to that right now.
They at the highest levels could make a difference if they told musicians that set the agenda for the university. At that time, seeking the head of Dr. Robinson, I was focused to musician. The two participated in the request for a vote of no confidence. I supported a no confidence vote against Dr. Robinson, which was That information I developed each year, I supported it and supervised the motion. So you did want it removed at that point in time? Yes, I thought so, but not your question previously was if I wanted it removed when I met this man, I had no intentions of him stepping down or anything like that. But later on, I felt that he was not fit for the department, as he was interested in the good of the department and as somebody who's been there for a long time felt that I had a role to play in keeping the integrity and the good of the department too.
Let's talk about the retaliation against Dr. Buckingham, please.
Well, a number of things happened there. One of which was the president of the university came and visited him in his office and threatened him, said he wanted him to investigate the plagiarism that he was claiming John and Yelena had done, and threatened him with coming out with unsavory information about him if he didn't assist with plagiarism, and also shoved him in the chest.
Yeah,
got physical with him. Right.
This is the president of a very large institution, university, threatening him, pushing him in the chest with his finger, and he said if he didn't go along with the program, agree that there was plagiarism, that there would be what done to him?
Well, that they had a stack of documents, a file 3 inches thick of dirt on him.
Yeah.
And they would prove he was a sexual predator.
Sexual predator. And they had someone that was going to file a sexual harassment lawsuit against him, or make a complaint.
Well, shortly after all this happened, lo and behold, an internal sexual harassment complaint surfaced at the university against him. But it wasn't filed by a student.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. It was filed by a faculty member.
On behalf of a student.
Yeah, but when they went to the student to take a statement, what happened?
Well, the student wouldn't cooperate.
Because she didn't know anything about it.
Presumably. That's our supposition, but she would not cooperate.
This is outrageous. This is outrageous.
The student was a part-time employee of the university, and they threatened to withhold her check if she wouldn't cooperate and file a charge against Buckingham.
We're right now going to go to a video deposition of Dr. Buckingham, and he's going to talk about how the university tried to diminish his reputation. So let's do that right now.
The other thing you list here is that there was a female student who accused you of sexual harassment, right?
That's correct.
And tell me why you think that this is an act of retaliation by the university.
Well, it's another form of a witch hunt. I believe that the student was set up. The official complaint came not from the student, but came from a faculty member, which is against university regulations anyway. And I was called in. I said to then Dean Higbee it was false. There's no merit to this complaint. And I felt this is another part of maybe the setup they're trying to do to me, to discredit me. And I was told just that week by Dr. Serrano that the university is coming after me. They're going to discredit you, Bob.
Let's talk about your clients. We want to show the world who they are. I mean, these are hardworking people.
Well, Yelena originally is from an island in the Caribbean. Grew up there and in England. Her family was politically active. I think her grandfather was the first prime minister of this island. You know, she got her education. She met John. They got married. They went to medical school together in Mexico. And then PhDs. They were very interested in diseases that you know, affect poor people and people in border areas. That's why they liked southern New Mexico. They could study diseases in border areas.
What about Dr. Buckingham?
Dr. Buckingham has a long career in public health.
Mm-hmm.
He is originally an epidemiologist, and that is his primary area of interest. He has worked at numerous universities. He's very involved in hospice care, very involved.
Good man.
Very, very
well
good
respected
man.
in the industry.
Absolutely.
How about Dr. Rao She's still at New Mexico State University.
She
right?
is. She's still a tenured professor there. She is from India, from southern India. She's worked her way up, got a PhD, got into academia, in the United States. Has been at New Mexico State for quite a while. Publishes a lot. She's a well-recognized scholar.
Well, I admire all of these people, your clients, because they're willing to stand up for what is right. There's a lot of people watching this show, and they're worried about retaliation and whistleblowing at their own, in places of employment. What protection do they have against retaliation by an employer?
Well, the law prohibits retaliation if somebody has made a complaint of some sort of discrimination. But obviously, this case is a textbook case of people not following the law. And so I think really what in most cases, the best protection is to go to an outside agency and make a complaint.
And those outside agencies are usually what, the EEOC?
EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is the federal, and then almost every state has a similar state agency.
You will keep us abreast of what happens on this, because our audience is very interested in this, and most importantly, we certainly hope the right thing is done to all these people that you represent.
We do too.
And I want to thank you very much for being on the program today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. You can get more information about our guest and the issues at InsiderExclusive.com.